In the last few videos, I've talked a little bit about some of the limitations that are placed around indemnification obligations in an M&A agreement, such as baskets, caps, and time periods for bringing claims. But not all indemnification obligations will be subject to those limitations. So for instance, if there are covenants in the agreement, promises between the parties that they'll do something, typically those are not limited by a basket or a cap or a time period even, other than perhaps the general statute of limitations associated with that kind of a promise, whatever it was. So covenants are typically carved out from indemnification limitations. You'll often find taxes, anything having to do with taxes, a breach of a representation or covenants relating to taxes will be carved out of those limits. But other direct liabilities that are known. So a specified indemnity like, hey, there was a lawsuit, you're going to indemnify us against anything that went wrong in that lawsuit or any harm that comes from that lawsuit, that might not be subject to any kind of a limitation. And then there'll be a whole nother category of things that are typically carved out from indemnification limits. And that's things like fraud and other equitable remedies that might exist under the contract or under the transaction between the parties. And all of those things typically then get pulled out from those limits, and the exposure, therefore, to the parties for their indemnity obligations is significantly higher for those types of things.